I've totally kind of, as far as in any other opportunity, really, I focused on this and said, you know what, I'm going to make this my all because this is going to be my thing that I'll open up the doors to all the things I've wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I'm a late bloomer. I launched my career at 40 years old. If I could do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah, for sure.
If you want it bad enough, and you're willing to put in the work. Most people, you know what, first off, they don't really want it for the right reason, maybe. You know what? And many of them are just not willing to put in the work.
For sure.
They want the shiny stuff, but they're not willing to put in the perspiration.
That's right.
You know?
They give up too quick. You know, I was just having a conversation with a good friend of mine yesterday, Brian, and, we were talking about how people come to LA and they don't really realize what it's going to be like. And there's those days where you want to give up and you just want to kind of go, hey, you know what? I'm good. I'm out. I'm done. And I've had those days, and you're just, what were those days like for you? How did you get yourself back up? Because it sounds like, you've really climbed your way to the top. You have a successful career and you've done a lot in a couple of years. You should be really proud.
Yeah,
Thank
for
you.
sure.
Yeah.
Congrats, bro.
Thank you
Very,
very much.
very impressive.
Right now, it's been like a fire and a desire in me to outdo myself. I'm not competing against anybody else. I'm not competing. I don't want to be like no other actor. I don't want to be like any other rapper. I don't want to be like any other designer. You know what? I want to do me. I want to do whatever it was supposed to come out of me. My message, my essence of whatever it is, this spirit or this, body is meant to bring, whichever way you want to look at it. To me, learning to just be able to avail myself through availing others, because it's only through others that we can gain the energy to be able to do this. You can't really do it alone unless you can draw from and give energy to other people. It's that's one thing, beautiful thing about LA. If you go to San Francisco, you're not going to run into a lot of other actors. Most people they're designing applications and technology and websites, but you're not going to have the camaraderie that you have out here when you meet other actors. You see somebody, you get in an Uber and there's other musicians trying to follow his dream and this dancer's over here trying to do her thing.
Yeah.
You know what? You got this other writer, and he needs the actor to be able to bring his thing together. We all correlated. You know what I mean? There are no small roles. A movie's not a great movie without the right music, without the right acting, without all the other people behind the scenes that you didn't even see that made the magic happen. It wasn't one person.
True.
You might have looked at that star and said, oh, well, he was amazing. No, they were amazing. All of them. Okay, the highlight was on him or her, but you got to realize that all the talent that went into that.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think when you can kind of look at it as a united front and not compare yourself to any other actor or any other artist. I think that's the biggest trapping of us, is that we always look at somebody else and go, God, if I would have got started when you was your age, man, if my dad was your dad. You know what? If I had, we can live in these ultimately stupid questions that really don't do anything for you. Or,
so true.
We take responsibility for the success that we want to see. And we say, I'm the one. And I'm willing to go above and beyond anybody else. You know what?
Absolutely.
And I'm not going to compare myself to anybody else, but I'm going to go above and beyond what I expect myself to do. So I'm going to make sure I get to that audition. I'm going to go get that outfit for that audition instead of showing up half like I look like I might want the role. I'm coming in like I am the role. You know what?
And showing up.
So exactly. It's just taking that and just using where you're at, whatever it is you got. The craziest thing is the quirk about you. That's the thing they want.
Yeah.
You want to show them the pretty part. You want to show them the pretty face of you and go, oh yeah, look at this me. No. The flaws in you and the things that you are uncomfortable with and you hate, that's probably what they want. And that's the craziest thing about this business is everybody tries to posture and try to put their good side and try to take the perfect selfie, right? But at the end of the day, it's when you can be real and you can put your, not live in the fear of the judgment and just put what you are out there. Because nobody else could do that. You know what? There's only one you. Everybody else is a fraud.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? You guys have mirrored, listening to Sam's story. Sam Sparks, amazing. You've had a journey yourself. And, life was pretty rough. You started out, I don't know if you want to share, you were going on the wrong track, let's say, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think you'd have to go on the wrong track to understand the right track you got to be on. So, I'm never afraid to expose Sam that was in the streets, that carried the guns, that, sold the drugs, that was a womanizer, a manipulator, a liar, a cheater, and all type of different things, to get to the Sam Sparks you meet today.
That's right. So what was the profound, thing that happened to you where you changed and you let go of that.
I love that
old
question.
Guy.
You know why I love that question is because people always ask, like, what was that one thing? That's not how God works.
Yeah.
God don't work with one
you
thing.
You got God in your life.
God don't work with one thing. I'll give you this metaphor, and I heard Kurt Franklin say this. He said, have you ever ate a raw egg, just cracked it open and ate it? That'd be nasty as hell, wouldn't it? Mm-hmm. Excuse me. But if you ate flour, just open the bag up and ate the flour, that'd be nasty too, wouldn't it? If you took eggnog or nutmeg and just drunk it, that'd be nasty. But let's just put those things to the side and let's say, have you ever ate a cake? Your favorite cake, think about it. Chocolate or strawberry or whatever it is. But let's think about that egg. Let's think about that flour. All of those different things taste nasty individually. But if you put all of those things in a bowl and make it up and put it together and bake it, it's a cake. And it tastes great at the end. Point is, all of these different things may take and taste nasty individually. But if you put them together, they make an awesome plate at the end. So you need certain things to happen individually,
of course,
so that the cake or what you're trying to get to or what you're trying to make can be what you want it to be.
Sounds like how lies are cooked, my friend.
Exactly.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, it's not it's not like in a format of like running from certain things, but you need these things.
It is. It is.
Right.
And the bigger you want your cake to be, the bigger the bowl has to be.
Yep.
So the more ingredients you may need. So there's more things that's going to take place that may hurt at this certain time, that may put you at a certain place mentally, that may push you back mentally. You may be financially struggling, whatever you may want at that particular time.
Yeah.
That's getting you ready for your now when it do come.
That's the truth. That is the truth.
So, it's sometimes you just have to take those chins, and being under Steve Harvey, which God has blessed me, and now where one of the things that he gave me, and he gave me many of nuggets, golden nuggets, I say, one of the things that he say, man, is like, you have to know your timing. You have to know your timing. Because
let's break that down for everybody too. Let's break that down.
But and when I say that is he's saying this, because everything happens in timing. Just like you had to wait till you get to 40 to become who you were. So that villain that you play in that movie, you played that villain on the street before. The grace of God just kept you covered in that villain on the street. You get what I'm saying? So sometimes you have to take the timing and the assets that God is giving you in the timer.
For sure.
You on a conveyor belt, bro. I'm on a conveyor belt. You on a conveyor belt. And as we go down this conveyor belt, in certain time periods, things get placed upon, think about it, an engine. Let's use an engine. It start off bare. But as it goes down the conveyor belt, certain pieces get added onto it to become this engine.
It's very
You get what I'm saying?
I love it.
So in that timing, you have to be able to be patient to get the certain pieces.
Patience is the key
Because if you
word.
get to the end of it and you don't have that piece, now that engine don't even run like it's supposed to.
You got to go back.
You got to go all the way back.
And you can't repeat. You can't repeat that cycle of
And
life.
sometimes God don't bless you to repeat.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Sometimes he don't do you in that manner where you can go back and repeat. Sometimes you have to just trust what things are going on at that timing. And whatever is going on in that timing, is an ingredient to that cake you want to get to, or that piece you need to be that engine to run what you say you want to run.
And I love that too, because it's all about appreciating who you were, where you came from. And, you know, there's been many times in life where it's, you know, my past has come back up to haunt me, and it's people are like, oh, you know, you did that, you know, you were like that, you know. And I was like, yeah, I was.
Yeah.
But there was a time and place where it was like shame, guilt, and shame. You know, you got to hide from the world. I was like, I'm not telling anyone that I had eating disorders, I had addictions, and I did all these things, and I, you know, it was this terrible person. But I wasn't a terrible person.
For sure.
It was, again, what we're just talking about, this example, because it created me to who I am today.
For sure.
And as a beautiful human being, that gives back to the world.
Yeah.
And I wasn't able to do that before because I was in so much pain, emotional pain, and being able to work on myself, which took me 20 plus years to be able to go through and walk through and go, hey, this pain now is disguised as pain, but it's actually a blessing.
For sure.
Because now I'm able to give that back as you are and as you are.
Yeah.
And, you know, being a villain and portraying these roles on camera, I mean, you are the talent. I mean, that's incredible. Yeah. Incredible. And we get to watch that. You working with Steve Harvey. I mean, what is that like? He is so funny. I love him. I have to meet him. He's on my bucket list. Steve, if you're watching, I know you are. Have to meet you.
Well, one of the things that I have to say about Big Dog, I call him Big Dog.
Big Dog. I like it.
Big Dog in the house.
Big Dog, I have to say, because he changed my life drastically. Small story. But he picked me up because the way that I was dressed.
Really?
Okay.
That's why that was specifically why I chose you.
By everything that I love, the man picked me up by the way that I was dressed. What you compliment me on every time you see me, which is a blessing. Thank you.
Yes.
But never knew back in the day my gift and what was going to get me out was the way that I dress. Now look, my nickname.
I love it.
My nickname was Freak in the streets. Reason why they call me Freak is because I wear a suit, I have some tight clothes on, but I will bust your head wide open.
But he's dressed
so
to kill.
It's like, yo, listen,
don't let the suit fool you.
This dude is freaky, G. What's this dude is freaky? Like, what's going on?
He went OG with me in a tuxedo.
I will bust out the suit, bro. I will bust out the suit.
Yeah,
trying to do the business. You hear me? Not knowing at the time, though, at that time while I was in the streets, I had no outlet. So my outlet was what I was surrounded upon.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And what I grew up in. Now, did I want to regurgitate to the streets or resort to the streets or making the streets a solidifying factor for me to get out? No, not at that particular time.
Because that's the only environment you know. That's the only environment you're going to assimilate. Because unless you got a model, unless you got somebody else who's breaking you out and saying, no, there's another way over here. We got another door over here.
That's what that wasn't happening at that time. I'm born in '88, so I'm on a cuff of the new generation and the old generation. You know, I know the '90s babies, and I know kind of the OGs where things had a little structure. At the time, my mother, when she had us, by the grace of God, like I said, my mom, like you said, my mom didn't have too much but love. You know what I'm saying? And even in her growing up, she struggled with certain things. So those generational curses became my curses. You get what I'm saying?
Living them legends out. Because that's what you expect. That's what you expected to do.
So at that time,
that's the prophecy.
At the time, excuse me. At that time, those ways out became the streets and became the friends that was in the streets. Yeah. So that gun became a play, and the cocaine became a play, and the heroin became a play. Never been addicted to, and this is what I say, because everybody say, man, you know, they look at drug addicts and be like, you know, he's a fiend. And I think everybody's a fiend. Because even though I wasn't the fiend behind smoking the crack or smoking the heroin, I was the fiend of the money.
Of course, you're on the other end of it.
I was willing to be a party played in hurting someone else's life or deteriorating someone else's mind, body, soul with a certain thing that I offered. or I made myself a willing giving, hey, I got this for you.
Yeah.
At that time, I didn't understand it. Now at 28, I do.
Yeah.
But I needed to understand that. I needed to go through that and become that person and be that person so that I can be structured to this guy I am today. You get what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong. The good thing about it, like I said, even when I was in the streets, I wore suits. I did all those things, but I didn't know I was pretending at the time.
I get it.
I was pretending to be everybody else, but my suit is the one that kind of kept me. Yeah. Because every time I put on that suit, I felt different. I wanted to be different. I wanted to speak different. Every time someone saw me,
it was your armor.
Our clothes, they change the way you move, they change the way you talk.
Not even to skip to this.
They change
not even to skip to this, but I'll say this. This is my motto. Appearance change the predisposed mindset. And when I say that, this is why I say this. It's because it doesn't matter if you have a high school diploma, college degree. You can have 14 felonies. 6 of them can be murders. If you walk in the room and you're clean from head to toe, nobody cannot put you in any category other than when you open your mouth. After you open your mouth, they're going to say, hey, he's a guy in a suit that's intelligent, that handles his business, and he's about something. We're just going to say, he's just a guy in a suit.
That is good. I like that. That's very good.
It's so. No, it's very, very, very
true. It's so true.
Yes.
And once you understand your appearance, and this is what, going back into my story, when Harv said to me, because this is how it happened, Harv's,
where did you meet him? Where did
3 different occasions.
Okay.
3 different occasions.
Really?
I didn't meet him.
Within what time frame?
I didn't meet him 3 different. Yeah, I met him 3 different occasions, but they was 3 months, 6 months, then a year.
Okay.
The last year is when he picked me up.
Okay.
So the first time I went on his show, and I was on 100 black men. 100 black men, successful black men, young black men. Because the way I was dressed, they put me right in the front row.
Nice.
This the producers. It's not even Harv yet. He comes out.
This is what we do.
Yeah, this is the producers. They like, hey man,
love it,
awesome,
love it.
Can you please stand right here? He comes out not knowing he's gonna come right next to me. So as he's walking out, he stopped. He said, "Man, looking good." Because the way I was dressed, I was able to take a picture. Dabbed him. That was the only time. That was it. Second time was he had a mentoring event. I have a mentoring program, which is Legacy Living as well. But I was there to learn how to become a better mentor. He had a conference. I wasn't able to make it to get a seat. So I said, F it. I'm not going to leave. I'm going to stand on the side.
Good for you.
So as I'm standing on the side, as he's speaking on the stage, I'm standing there, I'm watching, I'm looking.
Like
he says, he's talking about appearance. And he said, the guy right here, by the way that he's dressed, I don't know his name, but I know he's somebody.
Wow.
This is before he even picked me up. Okay?
And he's just describing the concept.
He's pointing at me.
He's describing the concept to the people.
Yeah,
okay?
just like whatever
this
this
dude
guy,
right here,
whoever
just based on how
by the way he's dressed, you know he's somebody. So I'm like, I'm looking, I'm turning around looking for the dude. You know, I'm
talking about, man.
I'm looking for him too.
Like,
you know? I'm like, oh me. I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I appreciate it. Now I'm thinking he remembered me from the last time. No.
Oh, okay.
Third time happened was I was able to get some tickets to go to his show, his actual show. Because of the way I was dressed, the producers wanted me to sit on the front row. Now, these are completely different producers from the last show. Because this, you got to think about this. This is within a 7-month, 6-month frame that this is spread out. So when I go on a show, They sit me on the front row, and I'm just in the audience. I'm just going there to enjoy the show. I'm not going there to be on the show, none of that. So they put me on the front row. They say, man, you look good. We want you to sit on the front row. Cool. Big Dog come out. And when Big Dog come out, the way that this man comes out, his cologne captivates the whole room. He smell like money. You hear me? His shoes so shiny. Awesome. You hear me? His shoes so shiny, man. You can see the lights beaming off the shoes. So he come out and he got you like stuck, like, so he does his segment. He comes off his segment. There's during his period of time while he's doing his break, they ask him. He get to ask questions. The audience get to ask him questions. So a young lady said, an older woman, older woman was telling us congratulations on the books and all of that things. And he asked, hey, why? She said, why don't you teach younger men how to court women? Big Dog said, have you ever asked a young man, do they know how to court women? No. She said, yeah, do y'all? And she said, he said, young men do not read. He said, young men do not read. Now, with me sitting on the front row, Big Dog say, stand up. So I stand up. And as soon as I stand up, he like, man, who dressed you? I'm like, me. Now, again, take a moment. I met him twice.
Yes.
Prior to this. Again, at this time, he still don't remember. He was talking to me at those two prior times. Now, we talking, he get to fixing my suit because my pocket squares on my left-hand side, but my dart pen on my right-hand side. He said, everything lines up on your left-hand side. So he's fixing my suit. Now, this is the thing what I did not inform you guys. I used to have this dream for 6 years straight that Steve Harvey was going to fix my suit. For 6 years straight. He fixed my suit, and I woke up every time in a dream. It always get to this part where I wake up after he fixed my suit. I never get to the ending part.
And you had this dream recurring for 6 years.
Before this even happened. Before any of this take place. Seriously. While I'm selling drugs, while I'm in the streets, while I'm having babies, everything. You hear me? I'm having this dream. Never met him, none of that. I just started dreaming about
specifically what you was it something about particularly him? Or was it the talk show kind of arena, or was it just something particularly about his voice? Like me, like Les Brown is my dude when it comes to motivational speaking.
Yeah.
That's the dude I bump. I mean, I listen to a lot of other people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Les is one of the dudes that I love the way he serves and cooks his, know what, his work. Sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So it sounds like, it was just you already had that connection with him, though. It sounds like, I feel like, you know what?
It was not even
5-6 years prior. I mean, if you were having dreams about the guy, you know what I mean?
I just started having a dream. I
You didn't know why.
I took acknowledgement to his suits, the way that he wore suits. I loved that the way he wore suits. Every time I saw him, like, I like the way that he wears suits. I love the way he suits.
So you were watching his stuff.
But he popped after watching the suits, and I didn't care about the comedy, none of that shit.
Yeah.
I didn't care about that. I just liked the way he wore suits. And I started having this dream 6 years straight. Then at the show, it happened.
Yeah.
He started fixing
that's
my
one of them.
suit.
That's that confirmation moment. That's that moment when we were talking about earlier when I was like, when she's over here, when I found out she was my teacher's teacher, I said,
what happened in an anatomical?
I'll tell you exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, because something happened there.
Right after he fixed my suit. He fixed my suit. He said, you look clean. He said he called Will out, which Will is the hairstylist. Called Will out, told Will check me out. Afterwards, he went on set. As I sat down, because I was standing up, I was like, oh, that's the dream.
The physiological part of it.
Immediately, I started crying. Yeah. And I started worshiping to God. Because now, I'm like, yo, that's not deja vu. No. That is the dream. No. So, at the time, he asked me, he said, what's your name? And I'm like, Sam Sparks. the audience like, oh, they think I'm crying and so excited about meeting Steve Harvey, but I'm worshiping about the dream. Like I'm like, oh wow.
Yeah.
So he comes up, he grabs the collar of my shirt, he picks me up, he gives me a hug. It felt like 15, 20 minutes, but it was like 10 seconds. And he said to me, his exact words, he said, from this day forward, he said, I understand the journey. I understand the journey. From this day forward, I'm going to be your mentor and you're going to be my mentee. What God did not reveal was me styling him. That's what God woke me up apart. He don't give you everything, but he give you a tad bit of a
little teaser.
You get what I'm saying?
So that's the truth.
So now, everything that I didn't see prior inside of the dream,
you're living out.
It's living out, and it's happening because I trusted the dream. Because even though I said something is with this dream, something is with this dream. Now, what was funny is that I wrote this down 4 years ago, and now everything that I've ever written down, it has taken place.
Well, when we write things down too, we give it power and give it life as well.
You give it life.
I love this story.
I love
man.
that.
You gotta let it out.
We need to celebrate. We got Buzz Pops.
Oh yeah, where's Buzz Pops?
I like.
I love it, man.
Let's bust the bar open here.
Yeah.
Buzz Pop cocktails. You guys can find them online. Joseph Isaacs, thanks for sending those out today. Tell us what flavors we got. What do we have?
I have mango. Michael, what you got?
I got what did you say here?
So you got
Moscow.
I can't see Moscow Mule.
Moscow Mule.
Okay, that one looks good.
Buzz Pop cocktails.
I think this is one. Let's dust off the Caribbean rum. All right, so these are amazing. So the adult, tasty beverage. We had these at Celebrity Connected Gifting Suites. Phenomenal.
I did taste it. It's
they're
pretty dope.
Also, Brian's enjoying that. How is it, Bri? Yeah, he literally took one and ran because I'd be like smack.
I think B was waiting on this part.
Yeah,
I think
that's why he came to the show today. He's like, I came for the Buzz Pops.
The Buzz Pops.
Buzz Pop cocktails, gluten free, guys. You just pop off the top, gluten free, fat free, fresh fruit, and it's made with all different alcohols. So we've got tequila, there's vodka, there's rum, and bourbon. These are amazing, amazing, amazing. We didn't even practice how we were going to eat them, so
no, we
hopefully
didn't.
that came out good.
This is actually good.
This is decent.
This is
right?
actually,
That's pretty decent.
And they're amazing because it's not like a super powerful blast of alcohol.
Yeah.
It's tasty. It's got a little bit, it's a sorbet, so it's got a little bit of a tang, a little bit of a...
And I'm not a drinker either, so...
Yeah, so...
It's pretty decent,
These are nice to have like a party and stuff like that. We're going to be doing a charity event December 2nd, and we're going to have Buzz Pops.
Oh, dope.
Buzz Pop cocktails there. Hopefully I think you guys are going to come to our event. We're going to be doing it for St. Jude's Hospital, as well as children with cancer. So, we want to always give back in life. And so comes back to our experiences that we've had in life, living the hard life on the streets,
Yeah.
being with the wrong people, making some poor decisions, but poor decisions that turn out to be blessings in the end. So yeah, it's amazing that we all got to be here today to share our stories. So what do you guys think? You like them?
Absolutely. Great.
Amazing.
It's pretty dope.
Should we share with the girls?
Thank you, Buzz Pops.
Yeah,
Cocktails.
thanks, Buzz Pops.
Yeah, some more here.
Great product. They're nice.
Yeah,
So
check it out.
A nice light way to enjoy a little alcohol during the day without getting drunk.
And they have to come... They have to come sell these at the barbershop, at Legacy Living
tell us
Barbershop.
about your barbershop.
Oh, yeah. So we just started a barbershop called Legacy Living Barbershop. Well, I have a brand called Legacy Living LLC, which is a brand where we teaches entrepreneurship, how to get in your gift, knowing who you are, structuring your life. It's a platform brand. Our motto is a lifestyle brand teaching a lifestyle living. And we're creating many of entities that goes up under the umbrella of Legacy Living. So, you guys will be like ambassadors of Legacy Living. You guys are living in your legacies. You guys are, when you close your eyes, you will be satisfied. God will be satisfied that you have changed lives within inside of your gift. And that's what, we're creating a platform. We're a platform brand.
Love it.
So the barbershop is another platform where we have young guys and young women that is in their gift of you know, styling hair and being a barber in hair and makeup. And what I'm doing is I'm just trying to create a platform where not only that they can learn a business with inside of a business, but they have opportunity to grow. They have opportunity to scale their brand and get their brand to a level where not only if we can't get them to the top, we will get them to the catapulting of the top. And all they have to do is just keep flapping the wings and trusting that their gift is their gift, you know. And we have a school that's about to open up as well next door. And what we're doing with that is we're just going to start up from the ground because we have a lot of young men that's in the neighborhood of the barbershop that's walking around and don't have anything to do. And it doesn't take much to learn a trade.
Yeah.
And the barber world and the hair game is a game that if you want to put down drugs, guns, or anything else, pick up some clippers and pick up some hair. If you pick that up and learn that thing, even if you don't know your gift, it'll get you to a place where you can know your gift.
You'll learn it.
You'll learn your gift. You know, and that's what we're doing. We're just creating many of different entities and opportunities within inside of Legacy Living and just finding more ambassadors. And I jumped away from Harv now to where we leave the styling up to Will, and I'm just pushing Sam Sparks and Legacy Living right now.
Good for you.
I think that God has blessed me to be able to be with him. He's always big dog. I always could call him. Always could talk to him. But I think my wings have took its flight to do what's needed on a scale of Legacy Living and Sam Sparks being an entity to other young people's lives, not just being a name, because I care nothing about a name. I'm a vessel. I am truly a vessel. I'm not a name. I'm a vessel. Now my name is Sam Sparks. You have to call me by my name because respect is required so that I can give respect back. But I don't go about or after a name. I'm not about fame or fortune, but I need the platform to create the opportunities of the things that we need so that we can be right inside of our gifts. You know, look how we sitting together, you know, and we're happy because we're not only in our gifts, but we're talking about our gifts, we're enjoying, and we're finding connection with inside of our gifts, which we are one another individually. We all come from different places. We all have different struggles, but look how we're united inside of our gift. And that's the thing that God gives everybody, and that's how he unite people together. But here we go. We afraid of certain things. So
I love that you're doing that. Thank you so much for giving back and doing that. We talked a little bit before the show, and we were talking about, you know, depression and prescription drugs and things like this, and people with anxiety and bipolar. I mean, you name it out there. You know, I had a great conversation with Dr. Bart Billings on the phone the other day, and I want to give a shout out to him. He will be on the show on November 22nd. He's got a phenomenal book out there, Invisible Scars, dealing with, you know, brain injuries, trauma, PTSD, all these different things. And, you know, Mika and I had a conversation about it, and we talked about, you had an experience. You were on you were in the music video, Heavy, Lincoln Park, Chester. And I mean, I watched that, you know, I actually had a really good cry this morning because I watched that music video a few times, and I watched your interaction, you know, in it. And I thought about more than just the video, because I thought about your interaction behind the scenes of the acting that was involved. And I know the relationship was built there, because when we first talked about it, you know, I felt your pain of the loss, as to the whole world. Anytime there's suicide, you know, it's kind of an untold story, and we're left to kind of figure things out, and no closure. And so you were part of that. And it's interesting because I watched the video over and really just kind of dissected it and saw. And obviously he was struggling with, you know, losing a close friend to him by suicide, by hanging as well, Chris Cornell.
Yeah, that happened right after.
And it was his birthday to the day that it actually happened. And just, you know, and he struggled with drugs and alcohol, I believe they both did. And, you know, from what the stories, you know, public was saying. And it's just really sad to see that, you know. What was your experience like? Because I know that you had a text from him we talked about too.
Yeah, it was You know, it was I was just first off, I was so excited to be able to work with those guys. You know, I've done a lot of music videos with a lot of artists, but he was particularly one artist I was really excited about working with. When I booked the role, I didn't know that it was going to be me getting into an altercation with him when we did the scene. That didn't happen until I showed up on set, and the director was like, "Love your look, but you look too much like a rock star. You're going to upstage my dude. So, we're going to have to take you down a little bit. You're going to have to take the belt off. You're too cool, my man." And I'm like, all right. He's like, "Well, do you do stunts?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah, I've done stunts." He said, "Okay, well, we're going to have you get in a fight with Chester." And I was like, "Yes, now we're talking." So it was really, it was crazy because I was just so excited about working with him. And then when, he came out, he was really so approachable and very jovial character, very funny, making lots of jokes. But when I went into the scene to do the scene with him, it was one of those. I felt everything told me that this scene needed to be as real as possible. I don't know why, but most of the time my scenes anyway, I always try to really bring it on a grounding sense. You know what I mean, as far as the performance that really is something alive inside of me. I try not to manufacture some stuff. I need to put something out that's real, that's going on in here.
Yeah.
So that's what we did when we did the scene with him. They didn't really give us a script. They just kind of sat me around, and then they were like, they had us pretty much just did action, and they kind of described to me that he interrupted me. But meanwhile, I did all this ad lib, and I really hit him with a bunch of different things actually when I ad lib, because I didn't know that everything was going to play out the way it was going to play out. So I didn't know that that this whole thing. When I went in there, I was really trying to rile him up and get a incredible performance out of him. So when I came out to him, like I think one of the times I did a ad lib, and I was like, "Man, you need to look at yourself. You need to look in the mirror and ask yourself a better question, dog." And he just froze up. It was like the director was like, "Cut," and he was like, "Dude, I didn't even know what to say when you just did this." He's like, "You got me. You stumped me. You just totally stumped me with that ad lib, dude." But anyway, I was letting him have it. I'm like, "Man, it's all about you, Chester, huh? Look at you. And you know what? You're coming in 15 minutes late all the time. And, can't you see all of us are trying to recover? It ain't about you, man." And I dug into him. Yeah. Every take, literally, and they were like, "Damn, this dude is like, man, he's on some method type of man. Dude, man, don't mess with him." So after we shot, I went outside to smoke a cigarette, and he chased me outside and says, "Thank you, yeah, thank you, man." He's like, "You a friend of Bill's too?" And I was like, "Yeah, me and Bill, we go way back." And so we start talking, and he opened up to me and started telling me about his life and his excitement about his family and his wife and his kids and the music and this album. And we started talking, and I told him I wanted to always, I want to do music. I was like, "Look, brother, I've been doing this acting thing, but, my dream, part of what I want to do is I want to be like you. I want to ignite their minds. I want to ignite their spirits. I want to, I want to drive them." And he's like, "Man, I'll give you my number, man. You know what?" And actually, no, what happened was later on, I waited, and we talked, and then outside, I saw my coffee. I said, "Mika, go get his number." I said, "What's the matter with you? You stupid?" I said, "Man," I came back. I go, "Hey, man." I go, I want to get in the studio. I said, "You know what? I'd love to exchange." He said, "Man, I'll give you my number. Call me." So he gave me his number. We started texting back and forth, and it was just like, it was unreal, because I texted him a couple of short films that I did, and we're talking about collaborating on some music stuff, and then he texted me his last text, and it was I asked him when he was going to come back from tour, and he said mid-June, July, and then he sent me 3 emoticons that were in there, and of a rainbow, a clown, and a guns to the clown's head, and I didn't know how to take it. When I saw it, I was like. And then I was like, "Nah, man, he must be like, listen to dude's songs. You know what I mean? Like, he's got that funny sense of humor." And I had just sent him a short film called Cuckoo Picasso, where I actually killed the viewer. So I didn't know if he was referring to that short film, the link I had just sent him. So I said, "Ha, ha, funny." And I never got a response back. You know what? And then I texted him again about a week and a half later. Another couple weeks later. I texted him 8 times after that, and I never got a text back from him. And so the last text I really got from him were those 3 emoticons. And so, to me, I know in my heart today, you know what? People can say what they want to say and piss people off. I'm sorry. There is no way that there was an accident. There's no way that, you know what I mean? Yeah. A person would accidentally, the last text that I get in my phone is a rainbow, a clown, and a gun to the clown's head. You know what? There's no question in my mind that he was trying to tell me, "Homeboy, it's all right. You know what? It's going to be, he was giving me the sign in a way. And I feel to a point in me is like, man, why didn't you call him? Why didn't you do that? You know, but you can't see, you can't know all this stuff.
That's exactly.
You know, and it's terrible because if we could look back in hindsight, I mean, we try to reach and try to grab these people back from the gates of death that they want to, you know, feel that they, you know, that they are ready to walk through. But you know, it was terrible. A week after he you know, he took his life. Another old friend of mine who I'd known for many years and I had fallout with, and came back and you know, forgave homeboy. You know what? And he went and hung himself. You know what? It was like, bam, bam. You know, and but I think sometimes, you know, in life, you know, I mean, somebody like him who had such a large spirit and had so much to give, and obviously was as successful as anybody could ever be in the music industry. 60 million records later, you know what? You was a star. You was a superstar in every way. You know, and you know, it still irks me that I couldn't maybe have said that message if I would have known that it would have turned out that way. That 2 months later, and that was literally, that message was before Chris took his life, before Chris Cornell took his life. You know what, that message? So something was already digging in him, and plus when we did that performance, in fact, the way he came out and thanked me, it was like, now that I see it in hindsight, I could see that almost, I felt like in some way he kind of, this was the way that he decided a while ago that he was going to leave us.
But you know,
but I bless him, you know, because I listen to his music now and I appreciate the fact that, you know, his music and the way he left was part of his legacy. You know what? You can't argue with that. As much as we want to say he should have stayed, I wish he could have given us another album. I wish he could have been a father to the kids. I wish he could have been with his wife and his family and his mom. As much as you want to say that, that man fulfilled his dream. You know what? Did his legacy. You know what? Left us with a body of work nobody can ever argue with at all. And, so, you know, you can't tell somebody when it's time to go. And that was his exclamation mark to the world, I think. You know what, at the end of the day, that's what I've kind of learned, as much as it's churned me. And it's so hard letting people go. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Thank you for sharing that story, Mika. We've got about 5 minutes left, just so you guys know, too. And, you know, thank you for sharing that. And that is my whole point of, you know, this energy of what we share to the world. Not everybody's going to be able to accept that. Not everyone's going to be able to want to stay here and be on this planet. I lost a friend as well, like I told you guys a few months ago. She hung herself, and you just you don't know. And unfortunately, my last experience was, you know, a bit of a you know, disagreement. And so, you know, it's like being left with those things. You can't change the course of that because that's their path. But what we're doing, leaving the legacy, building a legacy, and creating a position for these guys to go in the barbershop, creating, you know, somebody else's dream and hopes. Hey, I can be an actor like Mika. You know, all these things that we're doing and providing these platforms and giving them back hope. So we're not going to save the world, and you know, and but we can always give our motivation and our inspiration and leave that mark on this planet. That's what you guys are doing, absolutely, by far. And, you know, leaving Big Dog, you know, and going, branching out, you know, just flying and going, soaring.
Your story is very, very beautiful.
Yeah,
it's very beautiful, because the thing is that what I see in you and what I feel about you is that, like, you trying to create really a conduit for other people. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's one thing. We all want our name to shine. We all want to get our, you know what I mean, our time in the sun. But at the end of the day, ain't nothing better than watching somebody else win the race, too.
For sure.
To be a part of somebody else's run. To be able to take that person off the porch and take them out the streets and take them out the hoods, you know, and say, look, man, there's another option for you. You know what? This ain't the only way to go.
For sure.
You know, these are the only ways that you can get rich, though. You know, because a lot of people, that's how they feel. There's only, you know what? They can only do that this way I get rich. So I applaud you, and I applaud your heart and that spirit and the love that, you know what, has built you, you know what, that you're resharing with the world, man.
And that's the thing, too. All the money in the world, you can have all that. You can have the cars, the life, all that, you know, the shiny, the glitz, and the glam. But at the end of the day, it's all about what we have inside and who we are. So you guys are absolutely doing that by far. We've got coming up in the new year, I'm excited to say I'm going to be working with some wonderful people. We're going to be developing a program to teach women and children self-defense. And working with Spice Williams-Crosby and Jennifer Silverstein and my senseis. Thank you to Jacob Bresler and Frank Dukes, and the list goes on and on and on, for inspiring me and motivating me to give back and teach these young girls and women how to protect themselves from domestic violence, from rape, from, all these different situations. And we're going to fight for our life and teach them how to fight for their life to save their lives. So that's awesome. Something that we're going to be putting on. We're really excited about it. Awesome. I'd love to have you guys be part of it.
For sure.
So that, we can share it with, siblings, friends, family, and these beautiful women here. Thank you for joining us today. Where do we find you?
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for having us.
I don't usually do talk show stuff. I don't do the reality TV show stuff. I just know I'm so busy working and all the time. I don't usually do it. So this is like the first time somebody's actually got me to come and do like a video honored. Talk thing. You know what I mean? I haven't done that before. So.
Where you can see you on the big screen, I know that. Where can we find you on social media that we can follow your career into the music industry?
Yes. Right now I'm cooking on it. I got a track with Snoop's on it. I got another artist on it. I'm on it. I'm working with Tommy Daughtry, who did Tupac's Machiavelli All Eyes on Me album. We're working on that. I just did another track called The Catalyst. I'm working on a brand called The Catalyst Road right now. I'm working on developing, which is kind of, we on the same vision as what you're trying to do with Legacy. You know what I mean? The Catalyst Road is a thing of how we cross-connect and cross-pollinate each other, brother. You know what I mean? And how each one could teach one. You know what? And it's through the synergy that we can really create something we could never create on our own.
For sure.
But you can catch me on Facebook, Mika Fitzgerald.
Okay.
On Facebook.
MICAH.
MICHFITZGERALD. And you can catch me at Instagram at Mika Fitzgerald. Same thing. It's all lowercase.
Yeah. Awesome.
And those are pretty much my two handles really I'm working on now.
Perfect.
But the Catalyst Road is coming to you soon. And
we will look for that. You guys make sure you look for that. Thank you so much for being on today. You're amazing. Sure. Sam Sparks, where do we find you?
I am Sam Sparks at gmail.com. If you want to email me, I am Sam Sparks is everything for social media. That's Twitter, that's Facebook, that's Instagram also, and that's my website, iamsamsparks.com. You could get the book there. The book is about to come out called LegacyLiving.com.
Awesome.
I mean, Legacy Living. You can get that at LegacyLiving.com. Yep. Excuse me. But
we got it.
Everything is there. You know what I mean? And we're just trying to create people to not do what we say we're doing, commit suicide. And suicide is first thing, a mental thing before a physical thing. Physical thing is the last thing. So we're trying to stop the mental suicide first before it gets to the physical.
Reach out to these amazing guys, Sam Sparks, Mika Fitzgerald. Thank you so much for being on the show today. We also had SWAT Fuel in the house today. Thank you to Buzz Pop Cocktails for sending over a delicious, tasty treat for all of us today. You can see us every Wednesday, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Also at www.tlcanleashed.com. You can find me on social media under TLC Unleashed or Traci Lynn Cowan. Hollywood Vibes, Sports and Life. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks again.
Live your legacy.
Bye-bye.
Do it.
Legacy living.